My name, Anthony Hopkins. My, my, a woman with no friends. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every woman's life when she looks around and sees no one beside her. No calls, no texts, no invitations. At first, it might seem like loneliness, but what if I told you that this solitude could be the greatest gift of all? Society teaches us that a woman must always be surrounded by people to be happy. But the truth is, your happiness does not depend on how many people surround you, but on how deeply you know and love yourself. A woman with no friends is not weak. She is strong. She is a woman who has chosen peace over chaos, authenticity over pretense, and self-worth over external validation. Understand this. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will understand your journey. And that's okay. The most successful and fulfilled women are those who embrace their solitude, who use it to build their dreams, refine their minds, and strengthen their spirits. Some people leave because they cannot handle your growth. Others disappear because they were never meant to stay. Do not mourn those who walk away. Instead, celebrate your freedom from those who never truly valued you. A woman without friends is not a woman without love. She is a woman who has learned to love herself first. And when you master the art of self-love, the right people, the ones who truly matter, will find their way into your life naturally. So, if you ever find yourself alone, do not fear. Use this time wisely. Learn, grow, and transform, because the strongest women are not those who have the most friends, but those who have the most inner peace. Stay strong. Stay fearless. And most importantly, stay true to yourself. Thank you. In a world that glorifies social circles, being alone is often misunderstood. People assume that a woman with no friends is lonely, but they fail to see the strength behind her silence. A woman who walks alone is not lost. She is choosing peace over drama, self-respect over forced connections, and growth over meaningless conversations. She does not crave approval because she understands that validation is temporary, but self-worth is eternal. Friendships should be built on trust, loyalty, and mutual respect. However, in today's world, many relationships are based on convenience, gossip, and superficial interests. A strong woman recognizes this and refuses to settle for anything less than authenticity. If that means standing alone, she does so with grace and confidence. Solitude is not a curse, it is a blessing. It is in moments of silence that a woman finds her true voice. It is in solitude that she learns, evolves, and becomes the best version of herself. Great minds are often misunderstood, and success is a lonely journey. Those who achieve greatness are the ones who dare to walk their own path. Never pity a woman with no friends. Instead, admire her resilience, her ability to stand tall in a world that constantly tries to break her. She does not need a crowd to feel complete, but because she has built a foundation within herself. So, if you are a woman with no friends, hold your head high. You are not alone. You are on a journey of self-discovery. The right people will come into your life when they align with your energy, but until then, keep growing, keep shining, and never compromise your peace for temporary companionship. True self-worth is not measured by the number of people surrounding you, but by the strength you carry within. Many believe that having numerous friends is a sign of happiness, success, or validation, but that is a misleading perception. A woman who knows her value does not require external approval to feel complete. She understands that her worth is not dependent on the opinions of others, nor is it defined by the attention she receives. The world often makes individuals believe that being alone is a sign of weakness or social failure, but in reality, it is a reflection of strength and independence. Those who are truly secure in themselves do not fear solitude. Instead, they embrace it as a tool for self-reflection and personal growth. When a woman builds herself from within, she becomes unshakable. She no longer relies on compliments or the company of others to feel valued, because she knows her worth is intrinsic. Friendships, like any other relationships, should be built on authenticity, trust, and mutual understanding. However, modern society has glorified the idea of having a large social circle, often disregarding the importance of meaningful connections. A woman who chooses quality over quantity in her relationships is often misunderstood. Many believe she is alone because she cannot form bonds, but the truth is, she refuses to settle for insincere friendships. She does not engage in relationships out of fear of solitude. Instead, she seeks genuine companionship that adds value to her life. In doing so, she may find herself walking alone more often than not. But that does not mean she is lonely. Rather, it means she is selective about who she allows into her space. The right people, those who align with her values and respect her presence, will come into her life naturally. Until then, she does not compromise her peace by entertaining those who do not genuinely care for her well-being. Embracing solitude is a powerful skill that many fear. The world conditions people to believe that constant social interaction is necessary to live a fulfilling life, but in reality, solitude is where true self-discovery happens. A woman who is comfortable being alone is a woman who is in complete control of her life. She uses her time alone to understand herself better, to grow, to educate herself, and to build her dreams. Instead of wasting time in unfulfilling conversations or forced social gatherings, she invests in herself. She reads, she learns, she works on her passions, and she strengthens her mind. Society may see her as isolated, but she sees herself as empowered. Being alone does not mean she lacks companionship. It means she is focused on building a future where she does not need to depend on anyone else for happiness. As bringing Bilyankam, she understands that before she can be in any meaningful relationship, whether friendship or otherwise, she must first know and love herself completely. One of the biggest reasons a strong woman may find herself with no friends is because she refuses to tolerate toxic relationships. Many friendships today are built on superficial interests, gossip, or mutual convenience, rather than true connection. A woman who values her peace will not engage in conversations that drain her energy or relationships that do not serve her growth. She understands that being surrounded by the wrong people is far worse than being alone. She refuses to engage in drama, manipulation, or negativity, and because of this, she may lose people along the way, but rather than mourning those losses, she sees them as necessary steps toward living a life of peace and self-respect. It takes immense courage to walk away from people who do not align with your values, and only a truly strong woman can do it without hesitation. She loses her previous life without hesitation, and no woman can do it without hesitation. Resilience is built through adversity, and a woman who has learned to navigate life alone is one of the strongest individuals in the world. She does not break when challenges arise because she has already endured the difficulties of walking a path without constant support. She has learned to rely on herself, to trust her decisions, and to overcome obstacles without seeking external validation. Every challenge she faces strengthens her character, making her more independent and self-sufficient. She understands that life will not always be easy, and she does not expect it to be. Instead of complaining about her struggles, she uses them as fuel to become even stronger. Her resilience is not built on the presence of others, but on her own ability to rise above every hardship. She is unshakable because she has trained herself to be. Success is a lonely road. Many of the greatest achievers in history walked alone because they refused to conform to mediocrity. A woman with big dreams and ambitions often finds herself with fewer friends because her path requires dedication, focus, and sacrifice. Not everyone will understand her vision, and many will even try to discourage her. She may face criticism, doubt, and loneliness, but she pushes forward because she knows her purpose is greater than temporary companionship. She does not engage in distractions or relationships that pull her away from her goals. Instead, she surrounds herself with knowledge, wisdom, and ambition. She works tirelessly toward her aspirations, knowing that in the end the reward will be far greater than the temporary loneliness she experiences. The world remembers those who dare to stand alone in pursuit of their dreams, and she is one of them. Many friendships are not built on genuine connections, but rather on convenience, shared negativity, or surface-level interactions. A woman who values her peace and mental well-being will not tolerate friendships that drain her energy or distract her from her purpose. She understands that not all relationships are meant to last, and not everyone who smiles at her has good intentions. In today's world, many friendships are transactional. People stay connected because of mutual benefits rather than true loyalty. Some friendships are based on gossip, drama, and emotional dependence rather than trust and respect. A woman who recognizes this refuses to be part of toxic circles, even if it means walking alone. She knows that forcing connections out of fear of loneliness will only lead to greater unhappiness in the long run. She would rather have solitude than be surrounded by people who secretly envy her, betray her trust, or manipulate her for their own gain. And walking away from toxic relationships is not easy. It requires self-awareness, courage, and emotional strength. Many people stay in unhealthy friendships because they fear being alone, but a strong woman understands that peace is far more valuable than forced companionship. She does not need a group of friends to feel validated. She does not keep people in her life just for the sake of having company. And she refuses to entertain negativity, dishonesty, or manipulation, even if it means being misunderstood or judged by others. Letting go of unhealthy relationships allows her to focus on self-growth and emotional healing. She is not afraid to cut ties with those who bring stress, drama, or unnecessary conflicts into her life. She understands that peace is not something to be sacrificed for the sake of fitting in. People often mistake her silence for weakness, but in reality, it is her greatest strength. She does not engage in meaningless arguments or seek revenge against those who hurt her. Instead, she walks away with grace, knowing that removing toxic influences is a form of self-care. She believes in protecting her energy and surrounding herself with people who uplift. If such people are not present in her life at the moment, she does not settle for less just to avoid solitude. Instead, she uses that time alone to strengthen herself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She builds her self-worth from within, knowing that when the right people enter her life, they will recognize and respect her boundaries. A woman who has learned to stand alone is one of the strongest individuals in the world. She does not crumble under pressure or seek external validation to feel worthy. She has faced disappointments, betrayals, and moments of deep solitude. Yet she continues to rise. She understands that true strength comes from within, not from the number of people standing beside her. Life is unpredictable, and relying on others for happiness or stability can lead to disappointment. This is why she chooses to develop resilience, ensuring that no matter what happens, she remains unshaken. She has built herself to withstand hardships, knowing that every challenge she faces is an opportunity to grow stronger. Resilience is not something that happens overnight. It is built through experiences, failures, and moments of uncertainty. A woman who has walked alone has learned to solve problems without expecting others to rescue her. She has faced situations where she had no choice but to rely on her inner strength to push forward. She knows that life will not always be easy, but she does not expect it to be. Instead of running from challenges, she embraces them as opportunities for growth. She understands that success is not given to those who take the easy path, but to those who dare to endure hardships with courage. Her resilience is not just about surviving difficulties, it is about thriving despite them. She does not allow past failures to define her, nor does she let temporary pain stop her from pursuing her goals. Every experience, whether good or bad, has shaped her into the person she is today. She is not a victim of her circumstances. She is the creator of her destiny. The world often underestimates a woman who walks alone, but she does not seek validation from anyone. She knows that her strength is not measured by the number of people in her life, but by the battles she has fought and won on her own. She is not afraid of being different, nor does she feel the need to conform to society's expectations. She walks her own path unapologetically, knowing that true power comes from within. She is not looking for approval, nor does she fear being misunderstood. She is strong, she is resilient, and she is unstoppable. Not all friendships are created equal, and not all relationships are meant to last forever. In a world that glorifies large social circles, it is easy to believe that having more friends equates to being more successful or fulfilled. However, the truth is that quality matters far more than quantity. A woman who chooses to have fewer friends, or even no friends at all, is not someone who is incapable of forming connections. Instead, she is someone who values meaningful relationships over superficial ones. She understands that real friendships are built on trust, loyalty, and mutual respect, not convenience, gossip, or shared negativity. Instead of surrounding herself with people who do not align with her values, she chooses to be selective with whom she allows into her life. This decision is often misunderstood by society, but is one of the wisest choices she can make. Friendships should bring peace, joy, and support, but many people find themselves stuck in relationships that do the opposite. Some friendships exist out of habit rather than genuine connection, while others are based on mutual benefits rather than true care. Many people remain in these relationships because they fear loneliness. But a strong woman refuses to settle for forced companionship. She understands that a true friend is not just someone to spend time with, but someone who uplifts, encourages, and supports her in both good and bad times. She would rather have one loyal friend than a group of people who are only present when it is convenient. She is not afraid to walk away from friendships that lack depth, even if it means standing alone for a period of time. People often question why a woman with high standards for her relationships may not have a large social circle, but the answer is simple. She refuses to entertain relationships that do not serve her growth. She understands that a toxic or shallow friendship can do more harm than good. Rather than engaging in meaningless conversations or relationships based on social status, she seeks friendships that are built on honesty and integrity. She does not need to be surrounded by people just to feel validated. Instead, she enjoys her own company and waits for connections that truly add value to her life. The world may see her as someone who is alone, but she sees herself as someone who is free from the burden of maintaining relationships that do not align with her soul. Embracing solitude is not a sign of loneliness or social failure. It is a sign of strength. Many people struggle with being alone because they have never taken the time to truly know themselves. A woman who has learned to embrace solitude has discovered something that many never will: the power of self-awareness. Instead of seeking constant validation from others, she uses her alone time to reflect, learn, and grow. She finds joy in reading, learning new skills, and investing in her passions. She understands that personal development is one of the greatest gifts she can give herself, and she takes full advantage of the time she has alone. Rather than fearing solitude, she sees it as an opportunity to become the best version of herself. Society often pressures people to be constantly surrounded by others, making solitude seem like a negative thing. However, some of the most successful and wise individuals in history have been those who spent time in isolation, using that time to develop their skills, expand their minds, and discover their purpose. A woman who embraces solitude understands this well. She does not feel the need to always be in the presence of others to feel valued. She knows that her worth is not dependent on how many friends she has, but on how much she has grown as a person. She takes time to reflect on her dreams, set goals, and work toward achieving them without distraction. A woman who is comfortable being alone is a woman who is in complete control of her life. She does not make decisions based on the opinions of others, nor does she seek approval for her choices. She trusts herself because she has spent time understanding who she truly is. This level of self-awareness and confidence allows her to navigate life without constantly seeking external validation. She does not need others to tell her she is strong. She already knows it. She does not need to prove anything to anyone because she is secure in her own identity. Her solitude is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of empowerment. Many people struggle with loneliness because they have not yet discovered the difference between being alone and being lonely. A woman who has embraced solitude understands this distinction well. Being alone is a choice she makes to focus on herself, while loneliness is a feeling that arises from a lack of connection. She does not feel lonely because she has built a strong relationship with herself. She enjoys her own company and she finds fulfillment in her personal growth. She knows that when the right people come into her life, they will do so naturally. Until then, she does not waste time chasing after friendships that do not align with her values. People often mistake her solitude for sadness, but in reality, she is one of the happiest individuals. She does not rely on others to bring her joy because she has found happiness within herself. She has built a life that does not depend on social validation, and because of this, she is truly free. While others may struggle with self-doubt or the fear of being alone, she walks with confidence, knowing that she is exactly where she is meant to be. She is not afraid of solitude because she has learned that it is one of the greatest tools for self-discovery. She has built her strength, wisdom, and resilience in the moments when no one was watching. She has embraced the beauty of being alone, and in doing so, she has found true peace. A woman's value is not determined by the number of friends she has, but by her own self-respect, dignity, and inner strength. Society has conditioned people, especially women, to believe that social validation is a necessary component of happiness. From a young age, women are often encouraged to seek approval from their peers, to be liked, to fit into groups, and to avoid being alone. However, the reality is that self-worth should never be dependent on external validation. It must come from within. A woman who understands her value does not measure it by the number of people around her, but by the strength of her character and the principles she upholds. In a world that constantly pushes the idea that being surrounded by friends is the ultimate form of success, it is important to realize that solitude does not equate to failure. Some of the strongest women in history have walked alone, making decisions that were unpopular yet necessary for their growth. A woman who lacks friendships is often judged unfairly, but her strength lies in her ability to stand firm in who she is. She does not seek to impress others or conform to their expectations. Instead, she remains true to herself, even if that means standing alone. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. There's a significant difference between solitude and loneliness. Solitude is a choice, a deliberate decision to spend time with oneself, to reflect and to grow. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a feeling of emptiness and a craving for external connection. A woman who embraces solitude understands that it is not something to be feared, but something to be cherished. In solitude, she finds clarity. She discovers her true interests, her passions, and her deepest desires. When a woman spends time alone, she becomes more in tune with her thoughts and emotions. She learns to enjoy her own company, to rely on herself, and to appreciate the peace that comes with independence. Instead of seeking distractions or external affirmations, she finds fulfillment in self-discovery. This is where personal growth begins. She no longer looks to others for happiness because she has found it within herself. The vision becomes big. She understands that external relationships, while valuable, do not define her. Her worth is not dictated by the presence or absence of people in her life. True connections are built on trust and mutual respect, not just on numbers. In today's world, many people focus on accumulating friendships as if they were achievements, but the truth is that a few genuine relationships matter more than 100 shallow ones. A woman who has few or no friends is not lacking, she is selective. She chooses quality over quantity. She understands that not everyone is meant to be in her life, and that the right people will naturally align with her values and energy. The presence of many people does not guarantee happiness. Some of the loneliest people are those who are constantly surrounded by others. This is because true connection is not about numbers, it is about depth. A woman who prioritizes meaningful relationships over superficial interactions knows that real friendships require effort, sincerity, and trust. She is not interested in maintaining connections that drain her energy or compromise her peace. Instead, she invests in relationships that uplift and inspire her. Society often pressures women to conform, but embracing one's uniqueness leads to self-discovery and true happiness. Many women feel the need to fit into certain roles or meet certain expectations to be accepted. They suppress their true selves to blend in, fearing judgment or rejection. However, the moment a woman decides to embrace her individuality, she steps into her power. She realizes that her uniqueness is not a flaw but a gift. A woman who stands alone does so because she refuses to conform to the standards set by others. She does not seek approval or validation from those who do not appreciate her authenticity. Instead, she embraces her differences and allows them to guide her toward her purpose. She is not afraid to speak her mind, to chase her dreams, or to stand up for what she believes in. This confidence and self-assurance set her apart, making her a force to be reckoned with. A strong woman does not need validation from others to feel complete. Her independence is her greatest asset. In a world that often tells women they need others to feel whole, a truly empowered woman knows that she is enough. She does not seek completion from external sources because she has already found it within herself. She makes her own decisions, builds her own path, and takes control of her own life. Independence is not just about being self-sufficient. It is about having the confidence to rely on oneself emotionally, mentally, and financially. A woman who embraces her independence does not fear solitude because she knows that she is capable of handling anything that comes her way. She does not settle for unhealthy relationships just to avoid being alone. Instead, she waits for the right people who respect and appreciate her strength. When a woman is independent, she becomes unstoppable. She is not easily swayed by societal pressures or the opinions of others. She knows her worth and refuses to compromise her values for the sake of fitting in. She moves through life with a sense of purpose, focusing on her growth, her ambitions, and her well-being. And in doing so, she sets an example for others, proving that a woman's strength does not come from the people around her, but from within herself.